Shalom. I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to YAHAWAH, YAHWAH, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, and all other elders that teach the exact same thing. And salutations to the hopeful elect across the four corners of the earth in the sincere spirit of YAHWAH, YAHWAH, Rakakwadash. And this lesson will be based on cleave to the Father. Who's the Father? The Most High, who the world calls God, whose real name is YAHAWAH. And I'm going to start here at Acts chapter 14, verse 22. In the KJV, King James Version, it says, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of YAHAWAH. Right? Reading it in the NIV, it says, strengthening the disciples and encouraging them to remain true to the faith. We must go through many hardships to enter the kingdom of God, they said. So, this is something to keep in mind. Being the hopeful elect, or hoping to be part of the elect, the small remnant, chosen to be granted mercy, the ultimate mercy from the ultimate destruction, which is how World War III is going to end. All right, which is by fire, thermonuclear destruction. ICBMs creating a great destruction of fire. All right, hoping to be saved from everything leading up to that point, and ultimately being saved from the day of the Lord's judgment, the ultimate day of the Lord's judgment. Because prior to or before the great destruction comes, which at the same time is going to be the second coming, or the returning of who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, the Savior of Israel, whose real name is YAHWAH. Before that, you're going to have Jacob's trouble. You're going to have society be turned inside out. You're going to have hell on earth. And the scripture speaks about it being the times that we're about to enter into being worse than any other time in any other time in history. So it's going to be worse than the medieval times or the dark ages. It's going to be worse than when we were in hardcore slavery. It's going to be worse than any other catastrophic times. Any times in history where there was a high level of torturing or tormenting of the people. All right, which it's all about the elect. It's all about the elect, the small remnant, the 1/3, beginning with the 144,000 of the entire of the population of Israel. It's about them going through much tribulation or hardships in order to enter into the kingdom, because there's only one way to enter into the kingdom, and that is through being cleansed for Israel anyway, right? And you're either going to be spiritually cleansed through the spiritual fire, which is the trials and tribulations and hardships that comes with you believing in this truth and you standing on it, putting works with your faith, proving that you believe in what it is that you believe in through your actions. This is the spiritual fire. If you don't go through the spiritual fire, you have to go through the physical fire, because you refused to go through the spiritual fire. Because there won't be any Israelites going into captivity. The whole world is about to experience a great demolition, a great reconstruction and renovation, right? This whole system and the way that Esau, Edom is running this place, beginning with America, which is Babylon the Great according to the scriptures, in which he plans on spreading throughout the whole entire world, right? Their new world order, one world government, one world army, one world money system, one world religion. This whole system is going to be destroyed. The people who are running it are going to be dragged into slavery, whoever survives. And on top of that, all other nations outside of the nation of Israel, whoever survives, whoever is not killed off, they are going to be dragged into slavery under the 12 tribes of Israel, which are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. So I'm going to read it one more time. It says, strengthening the disciples and encouraging them to remain true to the faith, right? How do you gain strength? What should encourage you to remain true, to continue in the faith, to continue believing? You have to prepare yourself. What they say, hope for the best. You hope that you're a part of the elect, you're part of the chosen before birth, to be granted protection from the Most High through His only begotten Son, in order for you to have the ability to get through these hardships, these times of much tribulation, this spiritual fire, which will allow you to make it through the physical fire, or be saved out of the physical fire. It says we must go through many hardships to enter the kingdom of YAHAWAH. Right, so you have to see this truth. You have to see what we've been through. You have to see what the Most High has planned for us to go through as a people. And prepare your mind. Prepare your mind. And prepare your mind to do what is necessary in order for you to be granted that protection, to be granted that mercy, to be granted that salvation. And when you prepare your mind, once you prepare your mind and you know how difficult things are going to be, you should be in a mindset of cleaving to the Father by praying, by remembering to fear first and foremost, right? Remembering to fear the Most High, because without fearing the Most High, because it's a fearful thing when you know what the Most High has planned for this place. And once you understand that there's no way that you can survive, there's no way that you can survive these things that we're about to enter into without the Most High, then that should cause you to pray. That should cause you to fast. That should cause you to be in the mindset of doing whatever it is that you have to do in order to increase your chances of being granted mercy. So, because we all go through things. We all go through things. We all fuck up. It says, for your righteousness is as filthy rags, roughly paraphrasing. Only because of YAHAWAH laying down his life, being the ultimate sacrifice, shedding his blood for our sins, buying us back, redeeming us. Only because of that, in our faith and us believing, and you still had to be chosen before birth, which you have to want it. You have to want it. You have to believe that you have a chance in the Most High dealing with you enough for you to make it through. But some of us, it's easier said than done. For some of us, it's easier to believe in themselves. It's easier for them to do the works. All right, but we all have things that weigh us down, that we have to fight against. And those are part of the hardships. That's part of the tribulation. You know, the fight within yourself. The greatest war is with yourself. You know? Because before learning this truth, you have the mentality of the world. And having the mentality of the world, you've accepted the thought of death. you've accepted, you at some point in your life. I remember I was a child when I realized, when I found out that you have to die. That's the mentality of the world. One day you just have to die, and there's nothing you can do about it. No matter how good you live your life, eventually you will have to die. And so eventually, at some point in your life, before you learn this truth, you accept that. You accept that, and you start to make plans, or you start to hope in how you would want your life to be lived out until your death. And so once you learn this truth, and then you realize that that's not true, that only the Israelites have a possibility, have the opportunity to be saved from all of the hell that's coming, to be saved from the mentality of accepting death, and in fact you can live forever. That's a fight within itself, because it's like, all right, do I sacrifice everything do I sacrifice living comfortably as I can now? Do I sacrifice being successful, or chasing, or the pursuit of happiness, or the pursuit of being successful now, and just continue to accept that eventually I'm gonna have to die, because maybe I'm not one of the chosen. Maybe the Most High will not have mercy on me, because maybe I'm just not good enough, right? That's a fight. That's a fight, because it's none of us, from the apostles on down, none of us truly know or will know that we are the chosen, that we are part of the elect, until we are saved, until we have made it through Jacob's trouble, until we have survived past the point of receiving that micro C-hip, which is the MOTB, pursuant to Revelations 13:16. Until we made it past the last of the trials and tribulations, right? Until we're saved, we don't actually know. So you have to first and foremost cleave unto the Father, remember the names, believe in the Most High, believe in His power, do the works with believing that He's dealing with you. Right? You have to. This is a fight. This is the beginning of the hardships. This is the beginning of the tribulation. That thought in the back of your head, or that old man in the back of your head, trying to speak doubt into your future self, into yourself that you put hope in based upon YAHAWAH Shem Yahushua, right? Salaki, I'm going along with this one point, but it's very relevant, because some of us will go through things more than others. It will look more hopeless for some of us rather than others. I'm speaking as far as myself. I've been through my number of things which causes me to doubt myself a lot, which causes me to not believe that the Most High is dealing with me. But one thing about me is once I start learning this truth, once I learned the true names, I held on to them. And no matter what I went through, and brothers that know me, they know exactly, or the people that know me know exactly what it is, the things that I've been through. And I've always, ever since I learned this truth, I always held on to the names. I never went worshiping no other gods. I never went into believing in any other religions. I may have went back to certain of my sins, by not believing in myself, not believing that the Most High was dealing with me. But I will always hold on to the names. I will always pray to the names. And as far as I believe, the Most High has got me through everything. I know He's gotten me through. Only through holding on to those names can I give credit for me making it through the things that I've been through. And it's not about me. You can't make this truth about yourself. It's about YAHAWAH Shem Yahushua, and it's about how He's dealing with us together as a people. All right, so right, that's the point, right? So and that's the only way that any of us are going to be saved, is by holding on to those names, by holding on to the belief in the power of those names, by holding on to those names, or cleaving to the Father through the Son, right? That's the only way to be filled up with belief in yourself, just enough to keep pushing forward, just enough to get to the next day. All right. So Salakia, from there, where I want to go. Okay. From there, I want to go. I'm gonna go to James. Let me grab this. James chapter 4. Salakia, bear with me. Lord willing, this will be edifying. This is James chapter 4, verse 7. It says, submit yourselves, therefore, to YAHAWAH. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Verse 8, draw nigh to YAHAWAH, and he will draw nigh to you. Cleanse your hands, ye sinners, and purify your hearts, ye double-minded. Right, so this is a scripture that comes out a lot, but this is at the core of believing in YAHAWAH, Ba'ashem Yahushua. This is at the core of continuing in the faith, right? You have to continuously submit yourself, meaning stay down, right? In spirit, stay down, right? Like that Brandy song, I want to be down, right? We want to be down with the Most High. We want to be down with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, right? And the elect of Israel, beginning with the 144,000, the 1/3 population. We want to be a part of that small group out of the world that is down with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, right? And to be down, right, is to humble yourself, continuously humble yourself. So if you imagine yourself always in prayer, on your knees, in your hands, head down, scared to look up. That's what I imagine when I read this. Submit yourself. When I think of submitting yourself, right? When I think of wanting to be down or staying down, right? And don't get up. Don't allow yourself to be lifted up, because to be lifted up is to be prideful, is to believe in yourself more than you should. How can you? No one, like I said, none of us knows that we are for sure the elect. You can believe that within yourself, but you can't go boasting and bragging that, because the Most High might bust your ass. The Most High, that shows that you don't fear enough, which is a lesson that I recently had to learn. I found myself getting too comfortable with the Most High, with this truth. All right, you feel like you're once you involved on a certain level, once you're camping, you're doing videos on a certain level, and it doesn't have to be a lot. It doesn't have to be a lot. Just to know that you're being active can cause you a level of comfort, which can easily cause you to not fear, or not fear enough. All right. I started to get in the mindset of respecting more than actually fearing. But the Most High bust my ass and chastised me and corrected me and let me know, like, nah, you can still die. You don't have to be. I don't have to save you. I just might not save your ass. Who the fuck do you think you are to start to get comfortable. So even though the scriptures gives us a level of comfort, knowing this truth gives us a level of comfort, we're not supposed to allow it to get to our head, which is a fight, which is a part of the hardships. Is much easier said than done. All right. So it says, submit yourselves therefore to YAHAWAH. Resist the devil and he will flee from you. Right? How do you resist the devil? What is the devil? Right? The devil are all of those negative thoughts that can cause you to take your hand off of the plow, to go back into the world, to say, get a mindset, or even whether it's small or great, right? Get a mindset of fuck it. Well, maybe I'm just not worthy. Maybe the Most High just not dealing with me. Things are too difficult. All right. Or I'm not gonna do it today. It's too difficult. I'm gonna try again tomorrow. All right, putting it off from day to day. When you put off doing the works from day to day, eventually you look back and it's so much time that you haven't done works that it only adds to you doubting yourself. It only adds to you believing that the Most High is not dealing with you. All right. What else is the devil, right? Because if those thoughts don't get the best of you, right, and you active, you hot, you on fire, right? You doing your videos, you putting up the prayers, you fasting, you're studying, then what? You have to deal with those negative you have to deal with those negative spirits, so to speak, those negative forces trying to distract you by way of outside sources. It might be a job, it might be a family, it might be a vehicle, your health might start fucking with you. Right? So like Job, right? He had to go through multiple waves of being tried and tested, but he made it through all of those waves. And how did he make it through? By cleaving into the Father, by holding on to the belief in the Most High. And eventually, what? It says, resist the devil and he will flee from you. Eventually, once you hold on to the Most High long enough, eventually the Most High would tell whatever those negative forces are, would tell the devil, right? Would tell Satan, all right, leave him alone. He passed the test. Leave him alone. And then guess what? Satan not gonna say, nah, I I still want to fuck with him. I still want to do this. I still want to do that. The Most High, once YAHAWAH tells Satan to leave you alone, he's gonna leave you alone. He might come back fucking with you. He might be allowed to come back fucking with you. But for the time being, right, you survive that wave. So we want to be like Job, and we want to resist the devil, resist those negative thoughts, resist the temptations of giving up, right? Going back into the world. We want to resist all those thoughts until the point of salvation, until we're actually being beamed up on a spaceship, or you're beheaded for not receiving the MOTB, which is the micro C-hip, right? Pursuant to Revelations 13 and 16, Salakia. So I'm going to read it again. James 4:7. Submit yourselves, therefore, to YAHAWAH. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Draw near to YAHAWAH, and he will draw near to you. Right? How do you draw near to the Most High? By remembering the names first and foremost. Remembering the names. No matter what you go through, you don't give up on the names. You don't give up on believing that YAHAWAH Ba'ashem Yahushua can get you through whatever hardships you're going through. Right? For example, last week I wasn't able to do any videos. And it was weighing down on me. The reason why, there's no excuse, right? But I had to pay my car note, and I have little ways of being able to keep up with my responsibilities financially. And so I have to spend a great amount of time doing the little that I can to take care of my responsibilities. And it takes up it can take up a lot of my time. And so I have to sacrifice even the smallest bit of time that I sacrifice affects me being able to take care of my responsibilities. So that's the fight. That's the fight, you know. And last week I lost. And it dragged on to this week. But I wasn't worried about it. I mean, part of myself was, but I didn't give in to the thought of worrying about it, because the Most High has, I've been through so many things, so many worse things than the possibility of my car being repoed for me not being able to pay my car note, right? Because once you don't pay a car note for a certain amount of time, then your car immediately goes on the repo list. And I know, or I knew people that work in that field, and they're savages. They're like pirates. They live for they are legal car thieves. That's what they are. Legal fucking pirates. They got a list of whatever cars are on the repo list, and all they do is ride around hunting for these shits, hunting for whatever cars is on the repo list. And if they spot your shit, and if they spot your shit, you know, they even got shows or had shows based upon this, and it's very entertaining. You know, I was watching one show, or it wasn't even a show. I think it was something on Instagram. It was based on a show, and it was a dude recording his man's doing a job, and he was showing just how swift and fast he was with stealing your shit back, right? If your shit was on the repo list, man, this motherfucker, he'll spot the car. He would have his whole tow truck set up to where as though soon as he pull up to your vehicle, right, it don't take more than 30 seconds to a minute for him to lift your shit out of that parking spot, wherever you got the car at, and get your shit the fuck up out of there. Once your shit is lifted up on the tow truck, on the back of the tow truck, you could run out of the house all you want. You could catch him in the middle of taking your shit all you want. You could stand in front of his tow truck, whatever the fuck you want to do. But a lot of them be having guns on them legally. All right. They got the law on their side. All right. And they have the right to take your shit. If you don't, you shall be subject to payments. If you don't keep up with your payments, you can lose everything. You can lose your house. You can lose your car. You could lose your family. You can go homeless. You can if you don't keep up with your payments, you cannot be a part of this world, and it's going to intensify once that micro C-HIP is made mandatory. All right, once it's implemented, and it's a must that you take the micro C-HIP, or you be an outcast of society. You will no longer be able to buy or sell. You will no longer be able to make payments. All right, but getting back to my point, yeah, he'll lift your shit. He'll lift your shit fast, and it's either if the tow truck guy, if the repo man is cool, maybe you could pay him a couple dollars for him to take your shit off of the lift. But once they got your shit lifted up, no matter what you do, they got the right to keep your shit. The only way that you gonna be able to get your shit back is by making that payment. But if you don't keep up with the payments, eventually, in one case, I had a car before, and I totally failed. I wasn't able to keep up with my payments so much that when I called trying to make a payment, they told me that I was so late that I had to pay off the remaining balance, which was overwhelming. So I just said, fuck it. All the payments that I made up until that point was in vain. All right, this is welcome to hell. This is hell for you, right? And it's gonna intensify. So like I said, that's what I was going through last week, dragging on to this week. But I wasn't worried about it, and I continued to pray. I continued to believe and that the Most High was going to get me through it without a doubt. The only thing is that I wasn't productive as I should have been in the spirit. But this week, once I saw that it was dragging out too long, the spirit said, man, fuck that shit. If they take your car, they take your car, right? The best thing to do is to put your shit up in a garage where it would be more difficult for the repo man to find your shit, right? And do a video, prepare yourself to do some works, and basically I had to say fuck this car, right? And this is my third time doing this video, but this is my third time doing this video, and I could have put it out 2 times, but I wasn't really feeling it. I wasn't happy with the outcome of doing a video, and but I attempted to do it, right? Just going off of faith, not having my car note paid, not having nowhere near the money to pay the car note. I said fuck it. I on my second attempt, or once I finished the video the second time, the Most High had it to where though some funds came through for me, and I was able to pay my car note and my rent, because my rent, I had to pay my rent too. Yesterday I was able to pay my rent on time, but I was so prepared to not be able to pay my rent that I told my landlord that I was gonna be late. But the Most High had it to where as though that I was able to pay my car note. I was late on my car note, but I was able to pay my car note, and I was able to pay my rent on time. All right, so you know, YAHAWAH is worthy of believing in, is worthy of praying to, because he answers prayers. He actually answers prayers. He makes miracles happen. He will take care of you. He will get you through whatever it is that you're going through, if you cleave unto him, if you draw near to him, right? James 4:8 again, draw nigh to YAHAWAH and he will draw nigh to you, right? And once you get through these things, right, your bond with YAHAWAH, it feels much closer. If you feel like your relationship was drifting off, and you was drifting off from the Most High, once he gets you through these things, it brings you closer. It brings you closer. Same thing like your father or your mother or your significant other, right? You may be in a situation. And or you may have a relationship with someone, and you might find yourself not communicating properly, right? Whether it's your fault or the other person's fault, right? You might not be speaking to each other as often as you should, right? And then you might wind up getting locked up or something, getting arrested, and not having bail money, or not having lawyer money. And your father or your mother or your significant other or your brother, whoever it is that you have a relationship with, that you haven't been communicating with properly, who it seemed like y'all been drifting away from, right? They might have the means to come through for you, pay that bail for you, or make a down payment on a lawyer, or pay that. I think ain't no more bells in New Jersey, but I think it was like 10%. You had to pay the bells bondsman or something like that. Whoever it is that comes through for you, right? Once they come through for you, you might have to call them and let them know the situation or whatever with your one phone call or whatever, right? Once they come through for you, that will automatically give you a sense of bonding, of drawing. Y'all would draw closer to each other. You would would think like, oh, I could count on this person, and or you might run out of gas, right? You might run out of gas. Let's say your woman her being irresponsible, because women tend to be irresponsible, careless women, right? She might run out of gas 5 times in 2 months, right? And every time you come through for her, every time she call you, no matter what you doing, you drop everything and you make sure you bring that gas tank full of gas, 1 gallon, 2 gallons, whatever it may be. You fill her up, or you give her enough gas to cut the car on and keep moving. That should mend your relationship. That should help bring you guys closer to each other, right? So it says, draw near to YAHAWAH, and he will draw near to you. Cleanse your hands, ye sinners, and purify your hearts, ye double-minded, right? By cleaving to the names, by doing everything expected of you to prove that you believe in the names, right? The Most High will allow you to be cleansed, right? Will allow for you to feel more worthy of doing doing more. All right. You won't dwell on your past and your flaws and your sins as much, right? It says, and purify your hearts, right? Your mind, your heart representing your mind will be clear from doubt and negative thoughts, right? It says ye double-minded, right? You will be focused, you will remain focused and single-minded on Yahawah Shem Yahushua, and doing and being active in proving that you believe in the Most High, right? So that's it with that. From there, I want to go to where I want to go. Salakia, 1 second. Okay. Salakia, 1 second. Lost my train of thought. Okay. Deuteronomy. That's what I want. This is Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 20. It says, that thou mayest love the Lord thy God, and that thou mayest obey his voice, and that thou mayest cleave unto him, for he is thy life and the length of days, that thou mayest dwell in the land which the Lord swear unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them. Right? So that's what it's about, right? How do you prove that you love the Most High, right? Scripture say, if you love me, keep my commandments. If you love me, feed my sheep. That's what YAHAWAH said, right? That's how you prove that you care, right? That you love the Most High, right? By keeping the commandments, by feeding the sheep, right? By being willing to stay in that mindset, by being willing to stay active in doing the works until death, even if it killed, until salvation or death. All right. It says, and that thou mayest obey his voice, right? By being obedient to what he's feeding into your spirit. He tells he tells you what to do within your mind, right? And you have to discern between your personal thoughts, your personal spirit, other spirit, and other spirits that tempt you and persuade you. All right, you got demons, negative thoughts, right? And then you have the Most High, through YAHAWAH, and the Holy Spirit, feeding you thoughts, guiding you through your personal thoughts and those negative thoughts, right? You know, one of the ways that I always explain this to my children ever since they were young, right? Which they were not, you know, we grew up in my era. We grew up on Tom and Jerry. I will always remember that that they would show the cat, sometimes the mouse too, right? They would show there being a devil version on one side, on one shoulder, and then an angel version of themselves on another shoulder, and they would show, and they would go back and forth between they would go back and forth between the two different versions of themselves, the angelic version and the demonic version of themselves. They would try to make a decision, and it would get so serious, or that the angel version and the devil version would actually start fighting. They would show this in the cartoon, and I always think of that, you know, because that's the truth. You know, that's the truth of the world. That's the truth of what's really going on in life, right? Within us all, right? At some point, you know right from wrong with no excuses, right? You might not know perfectly right from wrong, but you start to have a good idea on right from wrong, and you have to consciously make a choice and decision to walk towards goodness, or that which is righteousness, or go off into evil or being bad. All right, but the elect are going to what? They are going to look to be obedient to that righteous voice, all right, which is of Yahawah Shem Yahushua Ba'ashu Kakwadash. It says that thou mayest love the Lord thy God, and that thou mayest obey his voice, and that thou mayest cleave unto him, right? So the word cleave, in the blue letter is Dawbak, D-A-W-B-A-K in the blue letter. And it says to cling, stick, stay close to, or stay close. Stick with, follow closely, right? Join to, right? To be joint together, to pursue closely, right? And so that's the mindset we're supposed to be in, regardless of whatever it is that you may be going through, especially the times that we're about to enter into, right? The drought of the word, the famine of the word, all right? The time for learning, the times for learning the easy way, which is what? Through the Most High having his prophets out on the highways and byways, verbally breaking the scriptures down to you, right? Those times are about to disappear, about to go away, right? And it's not going to be easy to come across a man of the Lord. And even when you come across one, they might not be willing to go to teach you, They might not be willing to teach you, and if they are willing to teach you, they're going to give you a very fast forwarded version of the teaching, and you're going to have it's going to be more difficult to learn this truth, if there's any possibility in you learning this truth, once the famine of the word comes, and once the men of the Lord are no longer out on the highways and byways. And brothers will tell you, some brothers will tell you, like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing one-on-one time. If you ain't get it by now, you're not gonna get it. Brothers will tell you that. All right, but the Lord may have certain brothers have you run into certain brothers, and they may have mercy on you, and teach you to the best of their ability. But it's not going to be nowhere near how it was, how it is now, which, like I said, because the doors of repentance are closing. Jacob's trouble is definitely about to rise up. Things about to get very difficult. All hell is about to break loose. They're trying to take away the freedom of speech. All right, they're putting up, they doing all types of they're censoring the truth more and more. Right, you can't say certain words, or they'll flag your page. And too many flags, you won't be able to post on your page. You'll have to start over, and things like that. And eventually, to speak of the Bible is going to be banned. It's going to be totally outlawed. And they're trying to make it to us that there will be consequences to teaching this truth. All right, so there's gonna be a famine, an actual famine. All right, you might find yourself, or you will find yourself, not being able to be surrounded around a brotherhood, or be surrounded around a support system that helps you to continue in the faith. Right, you might be secluded, you might be dragged into a concentration camp. Right, and so some of us have had it harder than other brothers, and some brothers are going to have it harder than other brothers in the future. All right, we don't know exactly how the Lord is going to have things play out for us individually. All we could do is hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. Right, and preparing for the worst is remembering to cleave unto the Father, remembering to hold on to the names. If you can't do nothing else, you hold on to those names. You don't let them go. You don't go believing in any other names. You don't go believing in yourself and grabbing up guns and weapons. You may find yourself having to defend yourself. All right, you just may well have to swing a knife or sword and kill somebody, or out of defense, right? Or shoot somebody out of defense. You might find yourself having to fight for your life, but you're not supposed to be in a mindset of I can save myself. I'm gonna save myself, and put to the side believing in YAHAWAH and praying and putting faith into those names. All right, in hopes that he will get you through whatever it is that you're going through. All right, it says, and that thou mayest cleave unto him, meaning stick closely to, right? For he is thy life, right? And the length of thy days, right? So you're supposed to cleave to the Father, stick close to him, right? Because he is your life. He gave you life. He gave you a mother and a father to give you a body, right? He gave you, he allowed for your spirit to be put into the body. He created all spirits. He created this world. He created everything, and without him we would have nothing. And it all can be taken away from us with a snap of a finger and a blink of an eye. All right. It says, in the length of thy days. Right. This is why we live to our capacity, whether it be 30 years, 60 years, 80 years, 120 years. All right. The hopeful elect are going to cleave unto the Father in hopes of being granted everlasting life. It says that thou mayest dwell in the land which the Lord sware unto thy fathers. Right. This is the only way that we will be able to return back into the motherland, which is Israel. All right. This is why we have been driven out of our land. This is why we went into slavery. This is why we have fell away from being a nation and remembering that we are the Israelites. This is why our enemies have ruled over us and still been able to steal our identity as God's chosen people. Because what? We ceased from cleaving unto the Father. We went worshiping other gods and following behind the ways of the rest of these nations. Right? And so we were driven out of our land. And the only way we're going to return back to the land, right? Drive the people that are there out is by cleaving unto the Father. That thou mayest dwell in the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them. Right. From Abraham to Isaac and Jacob, not Abraham, Ishmael, and Esau. All right. This truth is only for salvation, is only for the 12 tribes of Israel, the Israelites, not the small hats, which call themselves Israelis. All right. Or any other nation. All right. So when I think about cleaving, I think about those small cleaner fish, those cleaner fish that are always attached to and always following sharks, right? And they're called remoras, right? And the relationship between remoras and sharks, or whatever other species, whatever other fish that they cleave unto, that relationship is called symbiosis, right? And it says sharks are, this is from sharktrust.org. It says sharks are predators, but their relationships with different species can go far beyond predator-prey interactions. In fact, sharks have thriving relationships with a host of species. Some are beneficial to the shark and some not so much. These relationships are known as symbiosis. Symbiosis from the Greek for living together, right? And so we want to have a symbiosis relationship with YAHAWAH Shem Yahushua, right? Because we want to live together, right, with YAHAWAH Shem Yahushua in spirit now, in hopes of being one of the first fruits to enter into the kingdom and live together with YAHAWAH Shem Yahushua in all ways. All right, the elect are going to actually see Yahushua and be able to be amongst Yahushua. All right, and by doing so, we are living together with the Most High, the Father Himself, Yahweh. All right. It says symbiosis is any type of long-term interaction, right? So we look, the elect, the hopeful elect, look or hope to hope to live forever with YAHAWAH Ba'Shem Yahushua. It says, is any type of long-term interaction between two different organisms. It can be mutualistic, benefiting both organisms. That's it on that. It says remoras, right? It says remoras are pretty hard to ignore, and so we want to be like remoras when it comes to YAHAWAH Ba'Shem Yahushua. We want to make it pretty hard to ignore us, all right? That's why we constantly pray. That's why we put up fast. That's why we do the videos. That's why we pay tights. That's why we're always thinking about what it is that we can do. What it is that we can sacrifice. How can we sacrifice our time to and give it to the Father, right? Through the Son. It says remoras are pretty hard to ignore. When watching footage or seeing photos, you'd be hard pressed to miss the fish often attached sharks and rays growing between blah blah blah. Remoras form a mutually beneficial relationship with sharks and rays, right? So I'm reading on. It says, also known as suckerfish, remoras have an adapted front dorsal fin which takes the form of an oval-shaped sucker. This has slat-like structures, blah 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 blah, allowing them to attach themselves to the skin of larger marine animals. So we look to attach ourselves or be attached to YAHAWAH Ba'Shem Yahushua, right? It says the remora can adjust the level of suction, blah 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 blah. It says, but what benefit does this have for either party? Well, when attached to their host, remoras can clean their skin, right? So these cleaner fish, these sucker fish, right? They clean the skin of the sharks or whatever animal or fish that they're clinging or cleaving unto, right? And that is the job of the elect. That's what the prophets, the men of the Lord are out in the world doing, all right? Believing in YAHAWAH Ba'Shem Yahushua, right? And putting in the works, showing that we believe in YAHAWAH Ba'Shem Yahushua. Lord will not be part of that small number, right? We're cleaning up the image of God, of the Most High, all right, of the Bible, all right. We're proclaiming the truth, right? They right are out there. The men of the Lord are out on the highways and byways doing multitudes of videos, telling the world, right, that God's name is YAHAWAH. His name is not Jehovah. His name is not Yahweh. His name is not Buddha. His name is not Allah, right? His only begotten son died for the sins of Israel and Israel alone. Only the Israelites can be granted salvation. All right, they're cleaning that up. They're letting it be known that his only begotten son's name is not Jesus, is not Yahshua, all right, but it is in fact Yahawashi, right? And he's not a so-called white man. Neither is any of the important people, the prophets, the prophets of Israel, the kings of Israel. They are colored people. The Israelites the angels, right? Job, Abraham, Moses, Isaac, Adam and Eve, right? They're cleaning up the image of the truth of God in the Bible, right? So it says, when attached to their host, remorse can clean their skin, feeding on any dead skin cells and parasites. Right. So these dead skin cells and parasites are 2/3 of our people who believe all the laws of of the Most High and His Son, whose real name is Yahawah and YAHAWAH, right? Who teaches laws, based on the Most High, all right, and His Son, all right. 2/3 of our people and the rest of these nations are the dead skin cells and parasites, right? That's the shit that they're pushing is dead, all right. The mentality that they are in is dead, all right. The life that they're living is dead, all right. The way that they're living is dead, and it's only going to lead them to death. And if you're following behind the mentality of this world, you are counted as dead, and you will be put to death. Unless you are a heathen, and then in that case, you might be dragged into slavery if you survive everything that's coming. It says, in return, the remora benefits from a free meal and protection provided by the host, right? And so that's what Yahawah, the Most High, provides for us. That's how we benefit off of doing the works and believing in Yahawah Shem Yahushua, right? We are granted to be taken care of as the animals, right? As the trees and the flowers, as all other wildlife on the planet, right? We are granted the understanding that we don't have to be subjected to the ways of this world, which forces us to believe that we have to actually work for other humans, right? We have to work for other humans in order for us to survive. That's not the truth. We have to work for Yahawah Shem Yahushua in order to survive. We have to believe in Yahawah Shem Yahushua in order to survive. And the Most High will show you that He will take care of you. He will take care of you without you really having to do any work. Physical work, right? Because there's been times when I didn't know where my next meal was going to come from, or how I was going to be able to provide my next meal. But the Most High would have me be fed, right? The scriptures say, I have been old and young, roughly paraphrasing, but never have I seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread, right? The Most High takes care of His own, all right? It says, and protection provided by the host, right? So you're provided protection, right? Matter of fact, anytime our nation was in good standings with with the Most High, we would no enemy nation would be able to prevail against us in war. But whenever we were going off worshiping other gods, breaking the law, statutes, commandments, following the ways of the rest of these nations, that's the only way that we would lose in battle or war against our enemy nations, right? It says they can also feed on scraps left over by their host. Finally, they don't have to use as much energy to move around and pass water through their gills. This relationship suits both parties pretty well. So that's basically it, right? This lesson is dragging out, so I'm trying to speed it up, but you get the point, right? Lord willing, you get the point. Lord willing, you see the connection that I'm trying to make, right? Right. And so these suckerfish, right? Because when you think of the word cleave, right? The word cling or to be clingy, right? You want to be clingy, right? For the Most High, right? And if your girl's being clingy, right? She always want to know what you're doing. She always want to know what she can do to make your day better. She always want to know. She always want to be around you. This is how we want to be with the Most High. All right. This is how remoras are with sharks. All right. If they are not with a shark, they're always looking to attach themselves to a shark, right? So that they can get a free meal, so that they can preserve some energy. All right. I'm about to close up. Right. So right. Oh, also, right. So we want to cleave to the Most High, like the curses cleave unto Israel, right? This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, right? 28 verse 21, it says, the Lord shall make the pestilence, which is diseases, right, cleave unto thee until he have consumed thee from off the land whither thou goest to possess it, right? Because these curses we were warned of the curses, or the consequences, the curses being the consequences of what would happen if we didn't obey the Most High, if we didn't keep the law, statutes, and commandments, if right, before we which the warning was given to us before we actually went into the land of Canaan and drew out and chased out all of the inhabitants of Canaan, which were the Hamites, right? Out of the land of Canaan, and we inhabited or took over that land and made it our land, the land of Israel. All right. It says, the Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee until he have consumed thee from off the land whither thou goest to possess it, right? And so, we were chased out of that land. We were consumed. Those diseases, the curses, the plagues, right? They did consume us. They did eat us up. They did destroy us so much that we were driven out of the land. We were exiled out of the land, beginning with the Assyrian captivity, then the Babylonian captivity, and finally through the siege of Jerusalem, 70 AD. All right, that's when we were totally driven out of the land, right? Right. So because part of the curses is our enemies, Right? Deuteronomy 28:25. The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them and flee 7 ways before them, and shall be removed into all kingdoms of the earth. Right? And so this is part of the curses. Our enemies prevailing against us in war. All right, driving us out of our land, exiling us out of our land, bringing us into captivity. Right? The diseases eating us up, just all types of trials and tribulations, right? And so we want to, and they are, and the curses are still cleaving unto us, right? In 2024, thousands of years after we were warned, after the curses started to take hold on us, right? Thousands of years after we've right, because this is the reason why the kingdom split after King David and King Solomon, right? The kingdom has split because we were worshiping other gods. We were breaking the law, statutes, and commandments. We were sacrificing our children until these other gods, right? We were sinning so much and taking advantage of the right of making sacrifices that the Most High said He not dealing with us no more. He took away sacrifices from off of the table until YAHAWAH was died on the cross as the ultimate sacrifice for our sins. All right. But until this day, the curses cleave unto us. They stick close to us. They what the nigga Jada said? He said, black cloud over the hood, you can't escape it. Dust smoking niggas walking around in the matrix. Loyalty is thin, intention is thick. And that's our people. That's the life. That's the life that we're forced to live in, and we just can't escape it, man. We just can't escape it. Our people, and only the elect of our people, will recognize it as the curses from the Most High. That's the root of our problem. For us going astray from Yahweh Shem Yahushua, forgetting the names, forgetting who we are, who we were as a people, forgetting our ways, forgetting continuing to break the law, statutes, and commandments, eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, worshiping that Santeria shit, being involved in voodoo, being involved in Islam, being involved in plantation Christianity, whatever it is that we are involved in, or we have been involved in, that has caused us to go astray from our true heritage, right? That caused the curses to be on us, and we still have the curses on us because we're still doing the same things. We're still doing the same things. But going back to Deuteronomy 28:20. No, Deuteronomy 28:21 says, the Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee. Right. Diseases cleave unto our people, right? Our people have all types of or many cases of gout, right? We have all types of cancer, lung cancer, prostate cancer, you name it, all types of cancers. We just living amongst our people is like one of my cousins said it. Living amongst our people is like being in a psych ward, all right? Being in a mental hospital, all right? Because our people is sick in the head, man. Our people are strung out on all types of drugs, all right? Our people are bugged out of their mind. The rest of these, and that's why the rest of these nations look down on us and don't believe that we are capable of being better, no matter how much some of us may try, because one day when you find yourself in the ghetto, right, you just know when you in the hood, when you in the ghetto, you just the feeling gets different. It might be if it's nice, if it's not cool, versus being in the neighborhoods of these heathens, right? If you drive through different cities or neighborhoods, right, you just know the suburbs from the hood, right? It might be 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock at night, right? And the streets might be empty. Ain't nobody outside. You know you in the suburbs. You know you in a decent area. But soon as you get in the hood, it's all types of niggas outside smoking, drinking. You might hear gunshots. You might be at a red light and somebody bugged out of their mind might come up to your window, trying to slouched all over, looking dead, looking like the fucking Walking Dead, begging you for money, right? That's the mentality of our people. That's the condition of our people. That's the condition of the curses cleaving unto our people, right? And so we the elect want to cleave unto the Most High, right? No matter what you may go through, right? Cleave unto the Most High like the curses cleave unto Israel, right? It says, the Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee until he have consumed thee from off the land, whither thou goest to possess it. Verse 22, the Lord shall smite thee with a consumption and with a fever and with an inflammation, right? Arthritis, meningitis, what else is it? Because the word itis means inflammation, right? Arthritis is inflammation of the bones. Bronchitis, inflammation of the lungs, right? Meningitis, inflammation of the brain, right? All of these things. And what? How do you get meningitis? What is one of the ways of getting meningitis? Through lead. Through lead and in the ghettos of America, right, or across the four corners of the earth, right, because you got ghettos all over the world, like that ghetto boy shit, right? Our people live in projects. Our people live in low income housing, and when you live in low income housing, living in projects, right, when you live in the hood, right, you have to deal with slumlords, which are shitty landlords or irresponsible landlords, which most of them, right, they are those small hat J's, right? And that's how you know they are our enemies, because them and all other heathens, because you will only find them amongst us to benefit off of us, right? To set up businesses around us, knowing that that we are the greatest consumers on the face of the earth, right? And they take advantage of us being the greatest consumers on the face of the earth, and they set up businesses only to financially gain off of us, all right, and to embetter themselves, right? And when they set up businesses, they tend to run their business shitty, because they don't give a fuck about us, right? And so that's why we have to deal with lead. We got lead all in our water, all right? And drinking that shit causes you to develop a case of meningitis, which is inflammation of the brain, right? It says, the Lord shall smite thee with the consumption and with the fever and with an inflammation and with an extreme burning, right? Our people be having all types of STDs, right? our overall health is just fucked up. Majority of our people don't know how to take care of ourselves, right? And we have we're irresponsible. We have unprotected sex. We commit adultery. All right, we lay down with just anybody. All right, unprotected sex, which causes you to get STDs. One of the STDs is to get burnt. They call it burnt. I forget what's the exact name of that STD, which causes you to get burnt. But right, even though this scripture, right, most of this Deuteronomy 28 refers to what we went through in 70 AD, right? And in 70 AD, Jerusalem was set ablaze, was set on fire. There was many fires set on Israel, right? And it was burnt down, right? But those curses, the things that we went through in 70 AD, it dragged on until this day, right? In slavery, in hardcore slavery, they burnt down our houses, right? They burnt us. The Romans burnt us up, literally burnt us to death, right? Set us on fire until we died in fire, right? They did the same thing over here because America is the second leg of Rome. So they did some of the same torture tactics that they had, or the same penalties of death was still carried out here. And it's all going to come back too. It's all going to come back, man. All right. And with an extreme burning, and with the sword, the modern day sword is the gun, right? And with blasting, right? Crops being or failure of upholding crops. Salaki, give me 1 second. Salaki, I had to take a leak. Right, so we want to cleave to the Father like the curses cleave unto Israel, right? And the thing about the curses is that the only way for the curses to have any for the curses to seem like they're not affecting us as much is to cleave unto YAHAWAH Shem Yahushua, is to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, right? But guess what? Until we're saved, until Yahawashi make his second return and the kingdom is established and we're given those new bodies that won't be able to break the laws anymore, right? We at any point, if you stop keeping the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability, if you stop believing in Yahweh Shem Yahushua, if you stop doing the works, right? Guess what? Those curses them curses is right there to jump right back on your ass. It's harder than before they started letting up. All right. It says, and with blasting and with mildew, right? Going back to those slumlords and the project housings, right? This is one of the reasons why, the curses, Salakia, right? The curses are the reasons. Are the reason why we were driven out of our land, the land of Israel, the motherland, the holy land, right? And this is the reason why we often move out of our apartments, out of wherever it is that we're living at, because of the conditions of the mildew, because of the roaches, the mice, because of the lead in the water, whatever it might be, right? The conditions be so fucked up in the projects and low income housing, right, that we wind up moving out. We wind up moving out, trying to just start over, right? But that's real. That's real shit, man. Right? Mildew is a big thing in the fucking hood, in the ghetto, in the fucking ghetto, right? And with mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish, right? And our people were destroyed due to these curses pursuing us and cleaving unto us, right? Just one more time, I'll read that in the NIV. Just curious as to what it say, right? Deuteronomy 28 and 20. Well, I'm gonna start at 20. Matter of fact, it's Deuteronomy 28 and 20. The Lord will, in the NIV, the Lord will send on you curses, confusion, and rebuke in everything you put your hand to, right? And we are in a state of confusion. We are confused about everything. If you take 20 Israelites and you ask them what's their nationality, you're gonna get 20 different answers. But if you take 20 people from any other nation, right? Whether it be the East Indians, which is Elam, or whether it be the Chinese people, which is Moab, whether it be the Edomites, right? Which is the so-called white man, right? You're gonna get 20 of the same answers, right? Our people are the only people on the face of the earth who are confused about who the fuck we are, man. And our culture, our heritage, our true culture, our true heritage. Our people say that we're royalty, and it's kind of like we know that we're royalty and we're kings, or we were kings, but we're confused about the true facts about how we truly are royalty, right? And only through the Bible, only through the truth of the scriptures, which you have to be taught by the men of the Lord, right? Only through that can you be reminded of who you truly are and have your confusion cleared up, right? The Lord will send on you curses. Confusion is part of the curses, right? And rebuke in everything you put your hands to do. And that's why we're unsuccessful. That's why we've been here. We've been in the land of America for hundreds of years. We built this place up, right? But all nations that come over here are able to be successful or establish success way faster and easier than our people. And this is why they look down on us, because it's like, how the fuck y'all been over here before us? How the fuck y'all built this shit and y'all still ain't got y'all shit together? And they know the elites, or if you know better, they know the reason why. They know that our success is being sabotaged continually, consistently, right? But the average person in the world, they can't get it. They don't understand. They just look at us like we're lazy, we're bums, and we're incapable of doing good or being successful. All right. This is part of the curses. It says until you are destroyed and come to sudden ruin because of the evil you have done in forsaking him, right? By straying away, which is the opposite of cleaving unto the Most High. Verse 21, it says, the Lord will plague you with disease until he has destroyed you from the land you are entering to possess. Verse 22, the Lord will strike you with wasting disease, with fever and inflammation, with scorching heat and drought, with blight and mildew, which will plague you until you perish. Right? So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it with that. And the last thought I had on cleaving to the Father is like a child, a toddler to a parent, particularly or more specifically the father, right? I'm a dad. I have a number of children, and I've seen it happen over and over, right? From the point of a baby being able to say dad, mama, goo goo gaga, right? Up until about 5-6 years old, right? Sometimes it go up until like 10-12 years old, right? But more definitely from 1 year or a couple months of age to like 5 years old, right? Your children, if you're involved in your children's life, right, your children cleave unto you, right? And no matter what you do, right? For example, I have a 2-year-old daughter, and she does not. I gotta sneak out of the house when I am in the house. I have to sneak out of the house. If she see me getting myself together, putting my coat on, if she see me doing anything, looking like I'm about to leave, she automatically, Daddy, I want to go with you. Daddy, I want to go with you. She start holding on to my legs. She start trying to, Daddy, pick me up. She want me to pick her up, right? And this is what started putting me in a mindset of doing this lesson, because I had to pop her for doing something she wasn't supposed to be doing. She probably think she was I think she's probably kept she because living amongst her mother and the way her mother keeps her household, which the children are around their mother in her house, how she runs her house, because I do stay with her, but I also have a place separate from her as well, because I just can't, as of right now, I just can't just live with her. And so the kids is often around her more than me, and they pick up certain habits. One of the habits is my daughter is she say fuck you. You know, these badass kids, right? She'll say fuck you, bitch, right? And so, you know, I popped her, and you know, I you know, you could, you know, you don't you don't chastise your child, you don't abuse your child, right? You apply the proper amount of force on them to you know, to get your point across, to make sure that they understand that what it is that they did was wrong, and that there are consequences for breaking rules, for doing things that they're not supposed to do. So I popped her for I think she said fuck you. She said to me, she keeps saying it. I keep telling her to stop saying it. She keeps saying it. So I popped her, and she cried. And instead of her not wanting to be with me, she automatically wanted to be with me even more, right? She cried. She put her arms up so I could pick her up or whatever, right? Matter of fact, I was laying down. I popped her. She climbed up on the bed crying and laid down on me, hugged me hard, and it was just like fascinating. And I've seen it before, but it's just every time I see it, it's just because it reminds me of the truth. It reminds me of my relationship with YAHAWAH Shem Shah, right? And how your relationship should be with YAHAWAH Shem Shah, right? No matter what you go through, right? You understand that the Most High is the ultimate Father, right? He provides you with life. He provides you with protection. He provides you with guidance, how to live your life properly, right? And when you go against him in any way, right, he'll bust your ass. He'll whoop you. He'll spank you. He'll chastise you, right? And if you truly love him, right? If you truly care about your relationship with him, you will realize that that ass busting, that chastisement is only to correct you so that you can be better, right? And it draw you draw closer to him. It helps your relationship to grow better. All right. And so that's it. Matter of fact, just one more thing. What is it? I'm not gonna read the whole thing. I'm just gonna grab a certain Ezekiel 16, right? A real good chapter. This is a banging chapter on it basically gets into how the Most High raised up our nation, all right? Comparing us to a woman, right? How he I'm gonna read some of it, right? Ezekiel 16, and after this I'm gonna close out. Ezekiel 16 verse 1. It says, I'm gonna read it in verse 1. It's in the KJV. Again the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, cause Jerusalem to know her abominations. Jerusalem is the holy city of Israel. Israel is a people before it's a place. So it's talking about the nation of Israel, which are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, right? It says, and say, thus said the Lord Yahweh to Jerusalem, thy birth and thy nativity is of the land of Canaan, right? Because that's the land of Canaan is the land that we conquered. The land that we conquered and made our own. All right. Before the land of Israel was the land of Israel, it was the land of Canaan, and Hamite nations were dwelling in that land primarily, right? And it says, thy father was an Amorite, and thy mother an Hittite, which is parabolic for how those, when we went into that land of Canaan, right, was our beginning of being established as a nation, was the beginning of us being raised up, right? We were young, and we haven't even established a kingdom yet, right? A place of rulership yet, right? We had prior to that, prior to going into the land of Canaan, we were in the wilderness for 40 years. Prior to that, we were in old Egypt, and the Most High caused the plagues to come upon old Egypt to proclaim the name of the Most High and the people that he was dealing with, which were the Israelites, which were in slavery under the Egyptians, under Pharaoh, right? That was the beginning of the Most High dealing with our nation, right? And establishing us as a nation, bringing us out of Egypt, right? By Moses, right? Giving us the law, statutes, and commandments in the wilderness, right? That's where we were warned of the curses if we went astray, right, from the Most High. Then we went into the land of Canaan, right, and we took over the land, and that's when the kingdom was established, right? But we broke the law, statutes, and commandments, right? And so our kingdom only prevailed for a period of time before the kingdom split, and then we started having civil wars, and then our nation, we started going into captivity. All right, beginning with the Assyrians, right? Then the Babylonians. But it says verse 4, and as for thy nativity, in the day thou was born, thy navel was not cut, neither was thou washed in water to supple thee, thou was not salted at all, nor swaddled at all, right? And so you think of a baby, right? So reading it in NIV, it says, on the day you were born, your cord was not cut, right? Your umbilical cord. That's the first thing they do when a baby is born. They cut the umbilical cord, which the umbilical cord is the direct line that feeds nutrients from the mother to the baby, right? But the Most High said when we were born, right, our umbilical cord was not cut, meaning the Most High was connected with our people, right? And he was taking care of us directly. Now the Most High, now that we don't have a direct line of being taken care of, now we have YAHAWAH, Yahweh's only begotten son, right? That who has to be the mediator between the nation of Israel and the Most High. All right. It says, on the day you were born, your cord was not cut, nor were you washed with water to make you clean, nor were you rubbed with salt or wrapped in cloths. Right. Verse 5 back in the KJV, it says, none I pitied thee to do any of these unto thee, to have compassion upon thee, but thou was cast out in the open field to the loathing of thy person in the day that thou was born. Right? Reading it in NIV, it says, no one looked on you with pity or had compassion enough to do any of these things for you, right? Because before the Most High brought us out of Egypt and established us as a nation, we were just slaves. We were just bondmen and bondwomen under the Egyptians, and no other nation. We would have stayed there. We would have stayed there if the Most High didn't bring us out of there. We would have never been a nation of people with the kingdom if the Most High didn't perform those miracles and brought us out of Egypt. All right. No other nation was feeling sorry for us and would have saved us out of that condition in which we were living in. Right. It says, rather you were thrown out into the open field. Right. It says, for on the day you were born, you were despised. All nations of people hated us. Once the word was spread in the world that these great miracles, these great wonders and terrible wonders were being acted out in the earth by the one and true and living God. It was being known in the earth. It was known in the earth that the one true and living God was dealing with this one nation, which was the nation of the Israelites, which began when he brought us out of Egypt, right? And then we were in the wilderness for 40 years, and then we went conquering all other nations that we went against when conquering the land of Canaan. Everything that we went through, all nations that were surrounding us, right? All nations that were surrounding us, they heard of what we were going on, just like today, right? All of the world powers know what America is doing. All of the world powers know what Russia is doing. All of the world powers know what China is doing. All right. So in the days when in the days of ancient Israel, the Assyrians knew what was going on with the Israelites, and they heard of all of every single thing that we was going through. If it was a miracle performed, because a lot of times it would be a smaller amount of us going to war against our enemies, and we would totally annihilate them. Sometimes angels would get involved and help us win in war. All of these things were rumors of these things. If you weren't there, was spread, and when you heard about it, it was like that's what made our people famous until this day. That's why the Bible is the number one book on the face of the earth, because whether you believe it or not, it's talked about in history so much that it's continuously, the stories are continuously the most famous stories in history. All right. It says, rather you were thrown out into the open field, for on the day you were born you were despised, and all the nations. This is what helped the rest of the nations to hate us, because it's like, all right, why is the one true and living God dealing with this one nation? What is it about them that we don't have, right? It's just that's the mentality of children living under their mother. All right, because in this world, because women tend to try to make it seem like the world is equal. All right, or you're not supposed to have favorites. They try to put it in the kid's head that, oh, everybody is equal and there are no favorites. There's nothing wrong with having favorites, right? And matter of fact, no matter how much, you might have, if you got 3 kids, 5 kids, right? And you try to treat, like my mother, she had 4 children, right? 4 boys. And she tried her best to not show favoritism, but guess what happened anyway? All of my brothers feel like I'm the favorite. And now, as it stands, I am the favorite, right? But more so because of the spirit that the Most High has always had on me to show a special attention to my mother, always caring about her mind state, always being willing to have pity on her, right? And compassion on her, and understanding of what it was that she was going through, being a single mother, and her struggles of what she went through when raising us, right? Because a lot of people, when you raised up in a broken home, right, and you grow up and you start to have and you start and it becomes, or it seems difficult for you to establish success, you start to blame people. You start to blame your parents, right? And if your mother was the only one there, you blame your mother. You're the reason why my life is fucked up and I can't get right, right? And I never did that. The thought into my mind, but I always rebuked it. The Lord always gave me an understanding that of what my mother was going through, and had me to have compassion on her so much that my mother now believes in YAHAWAH, and that is the real reason why our relationship is much better than her relationship with any of her other boys, right? But getting back to the point that my mother tried not to show favoritism, right? And no matter how much she tried not to show favoritism, there's amongst my brothers still felt like they were favorites. When I was younger, I felt like my middle brother, my brother that was born right after me, he was the favorite, right? Because he didn't get in trouble as much, or my mother would give him way more passes. I got my ass whooped way more than he did. When at the time I felt like he didn't deserve to have that mercy or that compassion or whatever, and I felt like he was the favorite. But now, as it stands, they think that I'm the favorite, or they feel like I'm the favorite, and that just may well be the case. But the point is that there's nothing wrong with being favorites, but a woman will try to make it seem like there's something wrong with having favorites. Having a favorite is order, right? It's kind of difficult for your firstborn to not be your favorite, which I'm the firstborn amongst my siblings. That's the first one you start to build a bond with. That's the first one you start to experience being a parent with. All right, and through the Spirit, the Most High favors the firstborn son of families, of siblings. All right, he claims them as his own. Matter of fact, YAHAWAH being the first spirit created amongst all the spirits of existence, right? So Salakia. So the nation of Israel, we are the favorite nation on the face of the earth, and the rest of the nations hate us because they don't understand why, right? They don't feel as though that we deserve it. We're not worthy of it. They feel like they're better than us, and so they act like it. They hate us because of it. That's all I'm gonna read on it, because it's dragging out. This is a really good chapter to read. It gets into how the Most High raised us up, established us as a nation, right? Established us as a nation, gave us clothes, raised us up, put jewelry on us, right? Verse 13, matter of fact, it says, "Thus wast thou decked with gold and silver, and thy raiment was of fine linen and silk and broidered work. Thou did eat fine flour and honey and oil, and thou wast exceeding beautiful, and thou did prosper into a kingdom," right? So it gets into how we was raised up into a beautiful kingdom, right? And then how we started to go whoring, right? Which represents us worshiping these other gods, following the ways of the rest of all these heathen nations, right? Wanting to be like them, straying away or not cleaving to YAHAWAH, breaking the law, statutes, and commandments, right? Once we start feeling ourselves, right? And that's what these hoes do, right? You will meet them. You might get with a woman in her younger years, where she don't really know herself too much, where she don't really understand the world too much. She hasn't had too many experiences, and you start to deal with her, right? You start to deal with her. Y'all start to build a bond, right? Y'all move in with each other. You might be fortunate enough to buy her clothes, to get her jewelry, right? To y'all eating together, y'all going out, y'all enjoying each other's company, right? She start to grow up, her titties start to get bigger, her ass start to get fatter, right? She start getting attention from more attention from other people, right? She might have a group of friends that's telling her that she deserved better, right? And she start being a whore. She start stepping out on you and dealing with other men, right? Sleeping with other men, right? That's what the nation of Israel did to the Father, to YAHAWAH, right? And so this whole chapter gets into how the Most High raised us, how he set us up as a kingdom. We went off as a nation. The consequences for us going off, and how he's going to forgive us, beginning with the elect, 144,000, 1/3, right? Forgive us and bring us back to that great state that we were in when we were in our prime, and greater. All right, so with that, Lord willing, it was edifying. Matter of fact, it's one more scripture that I wanted to get. Just one more. This is where's that? Okay. This is Psalms chapter 137, verse 6. It says, if I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy. Right. So that's how you cleave to Yahawah Shem Yahushua, by remembering him, right? And if you forget him, right, and we don't put Jerusalem, our people, before whatever it is that we enjoy in life the most, right, then what will happen is we will it says, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth, meaning we will go stupid. We will not be able to understand life the way that it's supposed to be understood. The curses will cleave unto us, will consume us, will start fucking us up, right? We'll get sick. We might start losing our mind, right? We won't be able to conduct ourselves how we are supposed to. All right, because one thing about life as humans is we're social creatures. We without having a social level, a certain level of being social life, right? We start to feel alienated. We start to feel like we don't have a purpose in life, and we start to lose our minds. All right, if you haven't experienced it, just look at the mentality of 2/3 of our people in the world who are without Yahawah Shem Yahushua. They're bugged out of their fucking mind, man. And the reason why they're bugged out of their fucking mind, right? They don't know how to have a decent conversation. They don't know what the fuck they talking about. They don't know how to lead or give advice on how we're supposed to lead our life to success, right? It's because of they went astray, or they're not cleaving into Yahawah Shem Yahushua. So with that, Lord willing, that was edifying. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah Shem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kakwadash. That will answer the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, and all other elders that teach the exact same things. Salutations to the hopeful elect. Salakia that this was so long. Shalom.